investment, the likes of which this country has never seen, already announced. And they all want to have news conferences. I don't have enough time to have that many news conferences, but I would say so far at least $4 trillion. $4 trillion is coming in. Car companies, very importantly, a lot of the car companies that were going to build in Mexico or Canada are now building here. Because I don't want cars from Canada. I don't want cars from Mexico. They want to do it, it's fine. But I want the car companies to build here, not, you know, they were building in Mexico 3 plants, big plants, really big plants, and they were going to sell the cars right across the border. We wouldn't have the jobs, we wouldn't have the profits, we wouldn't get the taxes, we get nothing. All we get is unemployment and empty factories. Those days are over. So now those 3 places are going to build here, but many more than that. We have a big one. Honda is building, just announced a really big plant in Indiana, great state, smart place to build. And we have many car companies coming here. The steel mills are going to be booming, And many other things come with that. But we need that for defense. You know, there are certain things you have to have. You have to have steel. We would have had, if I didn't do in my first term tariffs to stop the onslaught, because they were dumping steel in order to destroy our steel plants. If I didn't do 50% and even 100% in certain cases tariffs on steel, you wouldn't have a steel plant in the United States. And Biden was unable to get rid of those tariffs because they threw off so much money that his numbers, which didn't work anyway, because his numbers were terrible. What he did, the way he spent money was so horrible, and what he allowed to happen to energy. That's the other thing. Energy is going to be like it's never been before. Mr. Vice President is here. If you have any, do you have anything to say while you're here?
No, sir. I'm
good Vice President.
I'm just here to watch the show, sir.
Okay.
I think airplanes are pretty cool, so I wanted to check this out.
Airplane's cool. It is cool.
Mr. President, anything that China can do to take off the trade war at this point, though?
Well, I'll be speaking to President Xi. I have a great relationship with him. We're going to have a very good relationship. But we have a $1 trillion deficit because of Biden with President Xi. More than that. I mean, I've heard $1.2 trillion. We have a deficit. And I've explained that to President Xi. We also have a problem where he's allowing fentanyl to be sent into Mexico and then cross the border and, you know, killing. I think the number is much higher than the 125, 115 that I think it's closer to 300,000 people a year. And so that's a problem. But they have a tremendous surplus against the United States, and we don't want that.
Mr. President, why do you want to control Ukraine's power plant?
A number of industries have come to you asking for exemptions on tariffs. Is that something that is under consideration by you?
Well, people are coming to me and talking about tariffs, and a lot of people are asking me if they could have exceptions. And once you do that for one, you have to do that for all. So, I mean, generally, I did something interestingly during 2 weeks ago. I gave the American car companies a break because it would have been unfair if I didn't. And everybody said, oh, he changed his mind on tariffs. I didn't change my mind. I helped our, you know, sort of big 3, big 4. I helped some of the American companies. And instead of taking it properly, they said, oh, he changed it. I don't change, but the word flexibility is an important word. Sometimes there's flexibility, so there'll be flexibility, but basically it's reciprocal. So that if China's charging us 50% or 30% or 20%, and I don't mean China, I mean anybody, any country, Canada. Nobody knows that Canada's charging our dairy farmers. They have 270% tariffs. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. They have up to 400%. They have a couple of tariffs at 400%. Nobody knows that. Nobody talks about that. And remember, with Canada, we don't need their cars, we don't need their lumber, we don't need their energy, we don't need anything from Canada, and yet it costs us $200 billion a year in subsidy to keep Canada afloat. So when I say they should be a state, I mean that. I really mean that, because we can't be expected to carry a country that is right next to us on our border. It would be a great state, it would be a cherished state. The taxes for Canadian citizens would go down in less than half. They don't spend money on military because they think we're going to protect them. There are many things that they do, like icebreakers. They want us to provide icebreakers for them. Oh, that's wonderful. So the Canada, they're very tough traders too. I want to just tell you, all the people, they're tough traders. They trade very tough. And you know, the expression I use is, some people don't have the cards. I used that expression about a week and a half ago, right? Somebody was negotiating who didn't have the cards, who's now, I think, saying that he wants to do it, and I think we're going to have a big deal on that very special something. We got to make a deal on that. But Canada has been a very nasty negotiator against the United States, took advantage of the United States for a long time. But nobody knows that they were getting 270% tariffs on dairy products.
A follow-up on Canada, and I don't think I've heard you say this in all of the talk about Canada becoming the 51st state. Are you concerned that if they became the 51st state, they would be a very, very blue state? Very, very big and very, very blue.
No, there might be, but it would, you know, you have that artificial line that goes, that straight artificial, that looked like it was drawn by a ruler. Somebody with I don't mean a ruler like a king, I mean like a ruler, this way. And it's just an artificial line that was drawn in the sand or in the ice. And you know, can I tell Peter, just, you add that to this country, what a beautiful landmass, the most beautiful landmass anywhere in the world. And it was just cut off for whatever reason. It would be great. Now, is it liberal? Maybe, but you know, a conservative until I got involved, because I don't care who wins up there. I frankly probably would do better with the liberal than the conservative, if you want to know the truth. But just a little while ago, before I got involved and totally changed the election, which I don't care about, probably it's to our advantage actually, but the conservative was leading against, I call him Governor Trudeau, the conservative was leading by 35 points. So, you know, so I don't know about that. I think Canada is a place like a lot of other places. If you have a good candidate, the candidate's going to win.
And I don't know if you've seen this, but the two astronauts that you just helped save from space, they didn't get any overtime pay for all that extra time. They got $5 a day per diem. For 286 days, that is $1,430 in extra pay. Is there anything the administration can do to get them, to make them whole?
Well, nobody's ever mentioned this to me. If I have to, I'll pay it out of my own pocket, okay? I'll get it for them.
Mr. President, I
like that.
Mr. President, you mentioned this
I'll
deal.
pay it right out of my, is that all? That's not a lot. For what they had to go through. And I want to thank Elon Musk, by the way, because think if we don't have him. You know, there's only so long, even though they're in the capsule up there, that the body starts to deteriorate after 9 or 10 months and gets really bad after 14, 15 months with the bones and the blood and all the things that you've been reporting on very well. And if we don't have Elon, they could be up there a long time. Who else is going to get him? And I just want to thank him. He's going through a lot, what they're doing to him. And these people are going to be caught, and they're going to be caught, and they're going to be prosecuted. And from what they tell me, I see this just by watching your programs and reading the news, but from what they tell me, they could get 20 years in jail, and they'll get it. I'll tell you, there's going to be no leniency, and there'll be no pardons. I can tell you that right now.
And you said this morning 20 years in jail, and then maybe you said this morning 20 years in jail, and then maybe they'll go to one of these prisons in El Salvador. Do you think with the way that the judges have been issuing injunctions, it would be easier or harder to send these Tesla domestic terrorists to a jail in El Salvador than these MS-13 or Tren de Aragua guys?
Well, I view these people as terrorists just like others. These are, when I looked at those showrooms burning and those cars, not one or two, like 7, 8, 10 burning, exploding all over the place. These are terrorists. You didn't have that on January 6th, I can tell you. You didn't have anything like that on January 6th, which is sort of amazing because on January 6th, the Democrats were talking. Nobody was killed other than a very beautiful young woman, Ashley Babbitt. Nobody was killed. And you look at what's going on now with these terrorists. These are terrorists, and that's an organized event. You know, take a look at their signs. Take a look. They're all made by the same sign company. A nice, expensive job. Now, these are the people that finance it are, in my opinion, in just as big a trouble as the people that are setting the match and setting the fires. So we'll see. It's under very serious investigation by the FBI and by the Justice Department. These people are terrorists.
Mr.
Okay.
President, you mentioned a deal with
Mr.
Ukraine.
President, what do you say to American military families who are seeing Elon Musk at the Pentagon today, are hearing about Defense Department cuts, and their thoughts are immediately going to the safety of their loved ones who are currently deployed?
Well, we're making our country strong. And when they see a thing like that and they hear that story about Elon and China, what they should do is realize that the New York Times is a corrupt institution, because I think they're the ones. They knew that story wasn't true. Nobody believed that story. People that, when I first called, they laughed when they heard the story. Nobody believed it, that the Pentagon was giving him a briefing on what war with China would look like, and he has business. No, they made that up because it's a good story to make up. They're very dishonest people. I have it with the Times, and you'll see more and more of it. To me, it's a very dishonest organization. But a story like that is made up. It's total fiction. And I just wanted to make sure. I called up Chief of Staff and I called up Pete, and I said, is there any truth to that? Absolutely not. He's there for Doge, not there for China. And if you ever mention China, I think he'd walk out of the room. He wouldn't take it anyway. So it's just a made-up story. Nobody's taken better care of the military. One of the things that I know that Pete's doing is he's talking about a lot of the civilian staff, and we're going to get them other jobs. You know, we're going to have a lot of jobs in this country, but we don't want to have wasteful jobs. We want to have meaningful jobs. And those were wasteful jobs. Those are jobs that not only military, but jobs where people don't show up. You take a look at Department of Education. I've never seen so many buildings with the names on it. You go past one after another Department of Education, and they're empty. The people don't show up. You know why? Because they have other jobs, because they're playing golf, or they're playing something, they're doing something. And we have a lot of great people, but we have to move that back to the States. We're going to make our country strong, and we're going to get people much better jobs, because we have companies moving into our country, the likes of which we've never seen before. Nothing like this has happened. And it's automatic. They don't want to pay the tariffs. How do you avoid paying the tariffs? You build your plant in the United States, and it's a beautiful thing to see. I see it. So far, I would say $4 trillion. Nobody's ever heard of them. No country's ever heard of numbers like that. $4 trillion, and those are the best ones. The biggest, best chip maker in the world. I'm not a fan of the CHIP Act, where you give billions of dollars away to companies that don't need it, and it won't bring them here. I'm giving nothing away. All they're doing is coming here, they're building because they want to avoid. Remember this on the tariffs too, because that's going to be, Liberation Day, April 2nd. It's reciprocal. If they charge us, we charge them. So somebody say, well, how much are the tariffs? Very fair. If India, as an example, has been very bad to us on tariffs, they charge 100%, 200%, whatever they charge. Now, Europe just announced they're lowering the tariffs on cars. We charge like a joke, 2.5%. That's what this country charges. Europe just announced that they're reducing their tariffs on cars to 2.5%. It's nice. But they also have non-monetary tariffs, where they make it impossible for the cars to get in, even without the dollars on them and the dollar signs. It's called a non-monetary tariff, where they put on controls where no matter what happens, because they don't want cars, they don't want the American car in their market. And yet they send us millions of cars, they send us big agriculture, they don't want our agriculture, they don't want anything from us. European Union's very tough, but now it's fair. So whatever they do to us, we do to them.
Mr. President, you mentioned last month. You mentioned
As Russia continues to attack Ukraine, are you planning to impose any sort of
Well,
sanctions?
they're fighting against each other. Yeah, I think we're going to have.
Do you
We have
plan
a
to
ceasefire on a lot of areas, and so far that's all held very well. And getting that ceasefire, they had a lot of guns pointing at each other. You had some soldiers, unfortunately, surrounded by other soldiers, and they are going to be, I believe, we're going to pretty soon have a full ceasefire, and then we're going to have a contract. And the contract's being negotiated, the contract in terms of dividing up the lands, et cetera, et cetera. It's being negotiated as we speak.
What do you say to critics who say that your actions towards law firms amount to coercion?
Well, the law firms all want to make deals. You mean the law firms that we're going after, that went after me for 4 years, ruthlessly, violently, illegally? You mean, are those the law firms you're talking about? But they're not babies. They're very sophisticated people. Those law firms did bad things. They went after me for years. Russia hoax. All a hoax. It was a hoax. It was Hunter Biden's laptop. It didn't come out of Russia, by the way. It was came out of his bedroom. It was all a hoax developed by Democrats. Hillary, I don't think Biden did, because I don't think Biden knows what the hell he's doing, frankly, based on everything I see. I've seen things since being here that are so sad. What he's done to this country, what he and they did to this country, those people that surrounded him, who, by the way, are radical left but smart. He's not smart. He was never smart. But these are radical left, smart people. They totally controlled him. He did whatever they told him to do. And it's a shame. It's so sad to see what happened, what they've done to this country, both not only the inflation you saw, but allowing millions and millions of criminals into our country. That's an inexcusable act. And many other things besides that. Thank you very
Mr.
much.
President, can we talk one more question on Ukraine? Why do you want to control Ukraine's power plants, sir?
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
I love the fact that President Trump taking all of these questions and just basically, answering every single one of them. And the Democrats, they're not happy with Trump. They're not happy with Trump. One of the things I want to talk about today as well, and thank you so much for everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up. Please hit the thumbs up. Going to open up the phone line as well. Today is Friday. It's your day. If you want to give me a call, if you want to talk to me, if you want to holler at me, my producer will put the phone number right here so you can give me a call, 319-527-3453, if you want to call me. One of the things I want to talk about today is the Democrats are coming up with a new party. And just like I said when I first heard about this, I got wind about this, of course, through Bernie Sanders. It is going to be they're going to create a socialist communist party. It's already there. I think they're thinking that this is the time for them.
Well, we hope you all enjoyed your meals. We'll get the program going again. We have some of the busiest people.
So, sorry, that distracted me. Lost my train of thought there. Okay. President Trump, when President Trump came on the scene, he was the outsider. He was not the typical establishment Republican. He wasn't the one bending a knee for the Democrats or the Ronaldcrats. President Trump came in as an insider, and he actually has changed the Republican Party. And personally, I say that President Trump took the Republican Party back to its original roots. He took them back to the roots. Now, you have Bernie Sanders teaming up with AOC. Well, they were always together in the first place. But they're taking that concept because now we have the MAGA Republican Party. It's the MAGA party, right? Regardless if you like it or not, it is the MAGA party. Well, they know that President Trump has done this. So you have AOC and Bernie Sanders and a few others that they're coming together and saying that they need to create another party inside of the Democrat Party. And the thing is, they're going to go more radical than they currently are. That's just the thing. They're already radical, and the reason why a lot of people are leaving the Democrat Party. And with Bernie Sanders and AOC, they're going to become more radical. It's pretty crazy. And I kind of encourage them to do it. I'm like, I want to see how they're gonna finesse this and how they're gonna push this. So here's AOC, and they're on the big sign right there, and the whole tour is called Fight Oligarchy. Really, Fight Oligarchy. And when I first saw this, I'm like looking at that, I'm like, man, is that a China flag in the background? But it's not. I have no idea what that flag is.
I mean, they're in Las Vegas.
I don't know. Maybe someone watching can let me know in the chat what that flag is. Of course, that I know the American flag. I don't know what the other flag is. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. Maybe it's their new Communist Party flag that they're flying next to it. I don't know. Maybe someone can let me know, enlighten me, because I've never seen it before. It kind of looks like, almost like Japan even, you know? I don't know. You let me know. But listen to her, because now they're on tour. They're going around trying to rally up people to join their Communist Party. That's what this is all about.
In fact, one thing I love about Arizonans is that you all have shown that if a U.S. Senator isn't fighting hard enough for you, you're not afraid to replace her with one who will and win. And that's how you got two fantastic senators in Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego.
Wow. Okay, so that is the Arizona flag. I didn't know. Never seen it before, so don't hold it against me. That's the Arizona flag. But listen to this. You know, I kind of think that they're going to probably try to uplift her for the 2028 too, Shannon. Can you see that? I kind of think
I can see that.
I think they're going to try to lift her up for the 2028.
Do I think she'll do well?
No, she's not.
I don't think. I would like to know what the numbers are at the rallies. So far, they did one in Las Vegas and Arizona. That you can see it's a fight oligarchy tour, which I think is really rich, considering that most of the rich people are in the Democrat Party.
Yeah. So what is this here?
I don't get it. So yeah, it just says that they're AOC and Bernie are going on a rally. It's called we're calling it the Fighting Oligarchy Tour. They're calling for the party to fight. They're calling for a party.
Is that
to
what
fight
we're
harder.
calling, or is that what they're calling it?
I guess they are calling it that.
I mean, because it's in front of their billboard.
Yeah, it does.
Her podium there.
Yeah, yeah. They're calling for people to fight harder. AOC said, this isn't about Republicans. We need a Democrat Party that fights harder for us too. She said, but what that means is that we as a community must choose and vote for Democrats and elected officials who know how to stand for the working class. AOC did not mention any Democrat leaders, but the crowd broke out several times while saying primary Chuck, talking about Chuck Schumer. It said AOC and Sanders are stars. Of course, this is NBC article of the left who are channeling a fighting spirit at a time when Democrats say that what they want to see more, that's what Democrats want to see more of. And then, of course, Bernie Sanders said we have two different Americas. In one of those Americas, the wealthiest people have never, ever in history of our country had it so good. People on top are doing extraordinarily well today. We have more income and wealth inequality in our country than we ever have had before. Now, interesting about him saying that wealth gap actually grew substantially under, guess what, President Biden. People were getting poorer under Biden and the rich were getting richer under Biden.
Yeah.
When Trump was in office, that wealth inequality was actually shrinking.
Can you hear my cat?
The studio cat is like yelling at us. He wants attention. And by the way,
let me know. Can y'all hear my cat?
The phone line is open. Give us a call. Let us know what you are thinking. 319-527-3453.
Yes. 319-527-3453. It's right there in the lower third. If you want to give me a call, holla at me. Tell me what you think. Yeah, people can hear the cat. I mean, man, the cat's going off. Okay, so talking about these oligarchies, right? Listen to this. Let me just pop it up here for you.
There is such an irony to Democrats talking about oligarchy because, of course, for every one billionaire that backed President Trump, Kamala Harris had 2. 9 of the 10 richest counties in America are represented by Democrats. 65% of Americans making over $500,000 a year today are Democrats. 75% of hedge fund managers who make political donations donate to Democrats, and 95% of political donations from the top 3 management consulting firms go to Democrats. Meanwhile, President Trump absolutely crushed with Americans who make under $100,000 a year. The Democrats are the party of the wealthy. And Donald Trump is representing the working class because he simply lifted the pro-worker elements of the Democrats' agenda when they abandoned the working class to cater to their rich base. This is all performance art. And what's so upsetting about it is they are being paid by the American people to serve them, and they are doing nothing of the kind.
Yeah, they're not doing anything. You know, it's kind of rich that they're attacking the oligarchs when majority of the rich people in this country are Democrats.
Absolutely.
Majority of the rich people are Democrats. And you know what got me thinking too? I wonder how many of these rich people that they're talking about fighting have Teslas. I mean, how many of them have Teslas? Man, they're getting really buck wild when it comes to these Teslas. I'm telling you. If you own a Tesla, I'm just saying, be careful. What you gonna say, Shannon?
And you know, Letnick, Trump's Commerce Secretary, he's talking about, just yesterday he was talking about it in a forum. He was saying that he asked President Trump, he said, Trump, if we get our spending in control and we start balancing the budget and we get these tariffs, would you object to people making under $150,000 a year if they have to stop paying income tax? And Trump says, you can do that. And so here is a man, Trump, who they've said wants to give tax breaks to the rich and tax the poor, which is literally the complete opposite of what they're doing. They want to only tax the rich and not tax the poor, or, you know, under 150,000.
Who doesn't want to tax the poor?
Trump.
Yeah, Trump doesn't.
He's saying let's get rid of income tax.
But the Democrats do.
Balance everything, and we no longer have to depend on the IRS.
And you know okay. I just want to
it.
make sure because you know the Democrats, they constantly come out and say tax the rich, and they don't want to tax the poor. And they said, you know, Joe Biden said anyone making less than $400,000 a year wouldn't have a single penny raise in taxes, but they still want to tax everybody.
I'm just so glad you said that, because who hired 80,000 IRS workers to go after every single person for taxes owed? And they're not going after the rich people. They went after 85% of the people that pay tax in America are the ones that make under 150,000. So Trump wants to tax the people that make 15%, the top 15%, and eliminate tax for the lower 85% of America. I hope he gets there.
Yeah, I hope.
If he does, the Democrats will literally be over with.
So I've got some more clips where they're actually talking about AOC and, you know, and some of these other Democrats possibly, you know, taking the lead here in their new Democrat Socialist Communist Party of America. It's really not new. It's really not new. They just believe like, well, this is the time for us to do this. How are you going to get people to rally behind that? I mean, I don't know how they think they're going to get people to rally behind communism and have everyone to believe, well, the government is going to take care of everything. I don't want a country that way. I want the government only to be there to make sure that we can keep our civil liberties, to keep our country safe. That's the only government I want. Everything else, get out of the way. Allow us to be innovative. Allow us to expand. Allow us to become great. That's what the government is there for, to get out of the way. But the Democrats, they want the government to be there so then they can tell everyone how to live, how to think, and what to do, et cetera, et cetera. Listen.
Let me just make a point, okay? As a member that is in a swing district, okay, I have and continue to do in-person events, including today, where I was protested by climate activists, okay? They showed up, barged into a private luncheon with the Rockland Business Association and screamed and yelled for 5 minutes and then finally left. But Chuck Schumer went on the airwaves multiple times now, including today, and said, we are organizing to send protesters up to Republican districts here in New York, including mine. And they have been working, the Democratic Party, along with activist organization, including Indivisible, to organize and mobilize voters both within the district and outside.
Mike, that was the whole
auditorium.
Isn't that a sign of energy, though, that should be concerning?
That is
it's
democracy.
A sign of
good organization.
No,
but
that
was
the
whole
auditorium screaming at those.
Let me just say, that is democracy, and that's fine. But let's not act like organizing Democrat activists is somehow news. It is not.
All right.
It is not news. And they're happy to do it. You know what? These Republicans, some of them are having town hall still. But some of them are like, okay, well, we're not going to do it. We'll just do the virtual town hall. Because these Democrats are saying every time a Republican has a town hall, show up, be disruptive, and say that you are a Republican. See, that's their MO here. And that's what they're doing. We'll go in, we'll act like we're Republicans, wear our MAGA hats, and tell people that we are not happy with what President Trump is doing. We want President Trump to stop. MAGA is changing. No, it is a bunch of lies. And we have an article on it too. Okay. And then they're doing this, right? With these billboards. And I'm going to read some of this to you. It says the Democrats launched billboard asking public to demand town hall from GOP representatives. These are the Democrats launching these billboards saying, we want GOP town hall meetings so we can come there and attack you and yell at you and pretend that we're MAGA Republicans. Really? So they're spending all of this money for these billboards because you know they have to pay for it instead of them helping out their constituents. It says the DNC is launching a billboard campaign in Republican-held congressional districts accusing GOP lawmakers of avoiding town halls and dodging accountability. The billboards placed in states like Arizona, Florida, Michigan, Pennsylvania labeled the representatives as cowards and provided their Washington, D.C. office numbers urging constituents to demand meetings. So they're putting these billboards all throughout these states, demanding Republicans, right? So they can all call in. Yes, have a meeting, have a town hall. And Democrats are calling in because they all got the memo to call in to these numbers. And some of them not even the constituents to these Republicans. They just want to make it look like, oh my goodness, the Republicans they're turning their back on Republicans. How do people not realize that this is a setup? And the Democrats are getting used at the same time because they don't have anything to stand on.
Yeah, they're actually putting them up mostly in purple states. So states where there's a struggle, there's a tug of war between Republicans and Democrats.
Florida's not a purple state.
Except for Florida, that was the only other one, that I
saw.
But
they have such a disdain for Ron DeSantis and the Republicans in Florida. That's the reason why they want to turn it blue.
Yeah, and really what they're doing? They're tainting the purpose of a town hall. Because like you said, Will, you're supposed to hear from your constituents of what they want you to do and how you can work better for them in D.C. But they're sending activists there to get video, to say, oh, look at the Republican Party is falling apart. And they send these people that really are not their base or they're extreme liberals in their district that's really outvoted by the large number of Republicans to go there and just cause a ruckus. That's all they want to do. They care more about optics, meaning what you visually see and hear, than they do about what's actually happening in Washington, D.C. Why is the DNC spending money on billboards instead of paying back all the millions of people that Kamala Harris failed to pay during her campaign? Shouldn't that money be better spent towards the people that invested in your Democrat Party that you let down?
It really should be. But you know what? They're doubling down. They still haven't even figured out why they lost the election. And they're doubling down on pushing that same nonsense. So, we've been talking and asking the questions all this time. Who is the leader of the Democrat Party right now? Who's the leader? Is it AOC? I mean, I'm like, it sounds like a good candidate for them. For me, I mean, let's do it. AOC. Maybe Jasmine Crockett. Sounds good to me. And you know what? I encourage them to go out and speak as much as possible, off the cuff, of course, as much as possible, so the American people can get to know who they are. Well, they're on here having a discussion about, because they don't have a leader right now. But again, it might be AOC in the future.
Because we need to hear new, fresh, bold voices. That's what the American people want. And if the party doesn't do that, the party is about to be finished.
I hope that AOC, Pramila Jayapal, Greg Cesar, I hope they're the new face of the Democratic Party because Republicans will be winning elections all over the country if that is the face of the Democratic Party. Are you?
I mean,
and this is failed Congressman Fire Marshal Bowman. Remember, he was the one that went and pulled the fire alarm. Remember? So he said, "Are you crazy? Really? Crazy for wanting AOC to be in the leadership?" I mean, I like the idea. Fire Marshal Bowman likes the idea. They want it. I like it too. By all means, even the gentleman he's talking to, which I don't know his name, he's on there. I guess his name is Mike Lawyer. Is that his name? I guess. So he's on there and he's saying, yeah, I like the idea too, because it is going to help out the Republican Party bigly. And I'm all for it.
Listen, a district like mine that Joe Biden won by 10 points, okay, 10 points. Kamala Harris won by half a point, okay? I won by 6.5 points, 24,000 votes in a district that has 85,000 more Democrats than Republicans. Why?
And you're right.
Because the
Democrats... but you ran against a cornball candidate. You had
he was your friend.
He was not my friend.
He was your friend.
You had someone running against you who was not a strong candidate. And we still
we agree on.
We still have consultants and big money controlling the Democratic Party, compromising it.
Outperform Kamala Harris in her district.
Now.
Trump did
better
than.
But here's my point. The New York, look no further than New York, where issues like cashless bail have been a disaster. Issues like sanctuary state status, congestion pricing. In districts like mine, where Democrats on paper should win big, they're losing. And so if the messenger is AOC, who, by the way, was originally from my district, she grew up in Yorktown, not the Bronx. If AOC is the face of the Democratic Party in swing districts all across this country, she will mobilize voters way more than Nancy Pelosi ever did.
Let me just add
for the Republicans. She's going to mobilize more people for the Republican Party or the MAGA Party than Nancy Pelosi ever did. Okay, hey, look, the phone line is open. Look, I don't bite too hard. Y'all can give me a call. I want to know what y'all think about this next story that we're getting ready to talk about. And this is about the Teslas. You know, people are riding around in the Tesla and they're getting confronted by other people. What do you think? 319-527-3453. And what I've been saying is that the Democrat Party, because the Democrat Party, the reason why this is happening is because of the Democrat Party. Because of all the lies that they're pushing out there. They're constantly lying about Elon Musk. And now they have these Democrats, just like everything else, attacking these Tesla dealerships and burning up Tesla vehicles. It's almost like the summer of love, and we haven't even gotten to the summer yet. It's just spring. So I'm just kind of curious, what do you think? Am I off the mark here? Call me. Tell me I'm wrong. 319-527-3453. Tell me how I'm wrong that the Democrat Party is not a domestic terrorist organization. I would really like to hear from you. I don't bite too hard. The number is open. You can call me. Well, while you're contemplating on calling me or not, let me share this one with you. And as I've told you before, so people are riding around minding their own business, and it's getting a lot hotter. Now, I've said this multiple times that when the Democrats realize that they're not going to be able to stop President Trump from proceeding to making this country great, they're going to get angrier and angrier every single day. I think I've been on a record that's been on repeat, constantly saying it. And every day, you have something else new coming from these Democrats. And you know, the Democrats could put this to an end. They could nip it in the bud. The Democrats like Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Elizabeth Warren, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, you know, all of these predominant Democrats, they could get in front of the cameras and say, look, this is not who we are. We're not going to destroy other people's property. We're not going to go to these dealerships and destroy the dealerships and shoot bullets into the dealerships and throw these Molotov cocktails, because that's not who we are. We're not going to call people out of their names because they're riding around in a Tesla. We're not going to do that. See, they could do that, but you notice the Democrats, not a single one of them are coming out saying stop. None of them are saying stop. They're all doing this because they want to apply peer pressure. They want to apply peer pressure onto Elon Musk and to try to convince Elon Musk to step away from helping President Trump. That's their whole goal here. So let me play this, and I'm told we have a phone call. We're going to go to the phone call. Watch this.
Angry because she was driving a Tesla.
I was thankfully by myself.
Lee was on the way to a doctor's appointment in Linwood Wednesday morning when she says all of a sudden a driver behind her just laid on the horn as they came up to a red light. Things spiraled out of control when a white SUV followed her and cut her off, stopping in the middle of the road.
Gets out and walks straight up to my window. So I cracked my window and I said, what is the problem? And he goes, you need to sell your car. This is a Nazi car. You're driving it. You need to sell your car.
Lee says she's been driving a Tesla for the last 2 years. She says a man wearing a camouflage jacket and a ski mask attacked her for it.
It's really sad, that this is what's happening to people who honestly, it doesn't affect how I believe or what I believe. Just the car I drive. Being in Seattle, climate's important, our footprint's important. This seemed like the right move for our very busy family.
This, however, isn't the first incident or act of vandalism reported. We've seen attack after attack after attack. Teslas set ablaze at the Las Vegas Service Center earlier this week, with the culprit leaving behind the word resist. In Oregon, shots were fired at a dealership, and in Massachusetts, charging stations were torched. These incidents have only intensified since CEO Elon Musk has taken a prominent role in the Trump administration while slashing government jobs and spending.
Felt so intentional, felt exactly what he was there to do.
There was even a website, now taken down, sharing the personal information of Tesla owners to pressure them to sell their vehicles.
If it was to align with what we thought, that it's easy to just, turn over a $60,000 car and find something new that works. That's not a decision that everybody can make overnight. And I think that puts a lot of us in a hard position.
Now, since being confronted, Lee says that she started taking the highways in order to feel more visible and avoid those back road stop signs. At the same time, though, she also tells me that she's made several reports regarding this incident. We're waiting to hear back if this individual is going to be facing any consequences. In Seattle, Alejandro.
Wow. All right, let's go to the phone calls.
All right,
we have Patrick.
We have Patrick from Ohio.
Hey, Patrick, thank you so much for the call.
Yeah. Hello, Will. Hello, Shannon.
Hello.
Hey. I'm a youthful 73-year-old from Ohio. I promise not to sing to you today.
Do you have a Tesla, Patrick?
Are you kidding me? I've got a 1996 Chevy Lumina that my dying father gave me, and that's what I got to run. Half the time it runs, and half the time it don't.
Wow, that's a classic.
Yeah, when it runs. Actually, I think I'm in better shape than it is, but for how long, who knows?
Well, that's good. That's good.
I got to stay in shape because, us MAGA people, we're really extremely violent people. We got to be ready for it.
I'm hearing that all the time from the left.
Oh yeah, we're just terrorizing the whole country. I'm telling you, it's just pathetic.
So what do you think? Do you think I'm off the mark here by saying that the Democrat Party should be labeled as a domestic terrorist organization? Because look what they're doing. They're actually the reason why the violence is happening in the country.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, you've been spot on from the first time I started listening to you. That's one of the reasons I stayed and listened for so long, because you told the truth. You told it how it was. You showed the proof. You were on board, spot on everything. So, no, I think they are. If you are against the American people and you're against the American government, then you're a terrorist. It's plain and simple. It's common sense.
Yeah. Just like this guy that's here on visa or green card, and he's basically saying eradicate the United States of America. And he was doing terrorist tactics against Jewish students at Columbia. And the Democrats, all of them they're advocating for him. And they're saying, well, what he was
Yeah.
doing is free speech. He should be able to terrorize Jewish people. That's what they're calling freedom. It is,
Right.
it's actually insane.
It's peaceful protest if they do it and raise hell and burn everything and hurt people and everything. When we do it, it's horrible. It's worse than Japan attacking us in 1941. You know, it's terrible.
Yep, it really is.
But what Trump represents is a return to morality, to common sense, to having a faith in your own government and the faith in the people that run the government, faith in each other, respect again for the United States, which we need so badly. We were so disrespected. That's good. And I say let these Democrats just spout off all they want, because I used to have a hard time finding something funny on TV to watch. And I don't have that problem anymore.
That's funny, yeah. I don't know. They really strike a nerve with me. I can't stand the lies. I can't stand that they allow the evil one to deceive them. And the sad thing is I really have a hard time with people that are believing the lies, that are really, I want to say, I can only think of the word lazy, where they don't go and research things for themselves, right? They don't actually see what they're actually experiencing versus what somebody tells them how they should be feeling or thinking. We have to pray for America. Trump is doing great things, and I think that he is being blessed by God and put in a position for just this time. And I just pray that people wake up and see it.
I think you're absolutely correct, Shannon. You really she summed it up perfectly, very eloquently, in fact. But I don't know that. You listen, when you get to be 73 like I am, and I've been through, oh boy, about what I've been through. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and that is true, and mentally and physically. Well, mentally mainly. But a lot of these kids, they're immature, and when they get older, they're not even going to think probably the same way that they do now, and they're going to go back and what was I doing?
Patrick, do you not see awful lot of older dumb people out there?
Yeah,
I see a lot of them
Patrick,
out there.
I hope I hope you're right, Patrick, because I see a whole bunch of liberals with pink hair, purple hair, and they're like in their 50s, 60s, and I mean, like, really?
Most of them are mentally ill. Most of them are mentally ill. They have some kind of mental incompetency. No, it's the truth. They've done surveys now. Long time ago, they tried to put me on medicines and stuff. I don't take nothing. Nothing. I don't take no medicines. No. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do nothing. I'm just my YouTube. That's my only bad habit. I love my YouTube, we need common sense. We need faith back in this country. We need respect. Oh, respect, and mind your own business. If nobody's causing you any harm, why do you got to go out? To me, you know what I do? I just got back from Walmart. I don't get out. And when I go to Walmart, I make it a point to make it their day for anybody I run across, to help the people. It's like an opportunity to make somebody's day better, and that's the way I look at it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
No, you know what?
I love that, Patrick.
That's the way. That's the way we should be, Patrick.
Yep.
I think we could learn a lot from you. And again, had you not told me that you were 73, I would not have a clue. Because I mean, especially after listening to Joe Biden for the past 4 years, I mean, I would not have a clue. I would say that you're at least in your 50s, at least.
I'm about 185, 190 pounds, 6'1", and my BMI is around 24 or under.
Wow.
For a 73-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Ladies' man.
I used to be a weightlifter. I was a weightlifter for about
a ladies' man. I hear you. I hear you.
Okay. All right, Patrick. We need a picture.
Yep, absolutely.
We need a picture.
Oh, well, I don't know how to do that, but yeah. Well, I'm a pretty. I'd say I'm a pretty cool dude for my age. I got my hair's about halfway down my back. I've got white hair, and I sang on my YouTube. Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, yeah. On my YouTube, I put my Santa outfit on and sang Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer for the kids, and they just loved it. Yeah, because
nice.
I look like Santa, because I got white beard and white hair. And, well, I got that because my girlfriend and me, we had it when I was with her, and she got me into it because she's a fantastic singer, and she got me into singing, just going around singing, and like going to nursing homes and stuff like that. You know, I'm not that great, but she said, sing something. I said, okay. And I sang. She says, oh my gosh. She says, you sound kind of like Willie Nelson. She says, you need to start singing Willie Nelson.
I can kind of hear it even just with your
yeah.
accent. You know, you kind of.
Oh yeah, I was like.
And you got the look of Willie Nelson. It sounds like with the long hair. Oh, there we go.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
I love this.
I was crying in the rain when we kissed and said goodbye. I knew we'd never meet again. What do you think?
We're gonna get community strike because you sounded so much like.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. They don't let me. They don't let me communicate very often. The people, they try to keep me on a leash.
Well, cool. Well, hey, Patrick, thank you so much for the call.
I love it.
Yeah, hey, thanks for putting up with me. I hope I haven't been a nuisance or anything, but I enjoy talking to you.
You're good.
And Shannon. So,
thank you.
And keep up you're doing a great job. I enjoy your everything that you do. So yeah, it's great. Thanks a lot.
God bless, Patrick. Take care.
God bless you too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so I want to share something else with everyone that's watching. And man, I wish I could sing. I sing so low you can't hear me. Let's put it that way.
That's absolutely true.
Solo, you
Both
don't.
Of us.
Solo, I'm telling you, solo, you don't want to hear me. Trust me. Okay, so talking about and Shannon just brought up a second ago how the Democrats, they take the lies and run with it. I'm kind of paraphrasing here. They don't want to believe anything that's factual. Now, this latest thing, and I saw someone put a comment in on Facebook asking when did Elon Musk supposedly become like a Nazi? And, you know, that's not the case. But they only started saying that about Elon, and it was Wanda. And I told you I do look at the comments. I bounce around between the different platforms and I look at the comments. But they only started doing that about Elon Musk when he started supporting President Trump. The same tactic, the same thing that the Democrat Party would do every 2 to 4 years. And they're still doing it, not realizing that the American people are not buying it. Well, now Elon Musk, he was just paying a visit to the Pentagon, right? It's just a visit, right, Shannon? He's not there to do any work. He's not there to do any auditing, to my understanding. He was just paying a visit.
Well, he is going to start working with Pete Hegseth.
He's going to work with Pete Hegseth. Yeah. But they're because they got wind that Elon Musk is going to pay a visit to the Pentagon. They're saying that he's sitting on the meetings about what to do about China and all this other stuff.
New York Times
the New York Times put out a straight up fake, false information, and I wonder, did they put that on Facebook? Because every time, if I put something out on Facebook, an article, and I think they were having the assistance of, what was it, NewsGuard? Every time I put something out there that was factual, but it didn't have some other details in there, because the articles can get really long, but you can put links to other articles. But nonetheless, putting articles out there, they would say, it's missing content. Right? They would constantly do that. Missing content, YouTube or Google, because of Google AdSense, they would do it all the time as well. So did they do the same thing to the New York Times? I'm just kind of curious about that. Well, we actually have someone from the Pentagon talking about that. Talking with Lawrence. He's a Pentagon secretary. Talking about the article from the New York Times where they're blatantly lying. Listen to this.
Yeah, on the record, that is completely fake. And let me show you this. This started with this New York Times headline, and they've since changed it. But Musk set to get access to top secret U.S. plan for potential war with China.
How would the New York Times get that information in the first place? They're blatantly lying. Listen to this. This is good. Now I have something I want to share with you after this. Watch.
This is egregious. This is fake. The New York Times should retract this story. 5 anonymous sources. I've been on bilat calls with the secretary. I see how hard he's working to implement the president's agenda and pursue peace through strength. This type of garbage from the New York Times undermines that process and undermines our mission. It shouldn't happen at all. Elon Musk is just coming over here for a visit. Again, he's an innovator. This is a guy that shot a rocket at thousands of miles an hour that's thousands of pounds. And as it landed back on the Earth, it was grabbed out of midair by a giant robot arm. Yeah. We want a guy like Elon Musk in the Defense Department to help us come up with creative solutions to the problems that we face in the day. But this article is ridiculous. It's fake, and I can confirm that on the record.
It's fake. And of course, these tyrant liberals on the left, they don't care that it's fake. They 100% don't care that it's fake. Here's the proof of it. Watch.
I'm the crazy one at the table, but I'm actually comfortable with someone who is incredibly effective at putting small objects and large objects into orbit over China.
Are you comfortable? Are you comfortable with potentially Elon Musk showing these plans or giving intelligence to
You're just
China?
making that
I'm
up.
not.
You're saying
I am not. I am saying that is why.
She read the New York Times fake article before she went out there, and she's in her mind, oh, I got ammo against Elon Musk. I got something I can tell everyone, like, I know what I'm talking about. She took it like you're fishing. I mean, they put the hook in her mouth and she ran with it. It's a total lie about the story, and she's running with it. And no one on there other than him is telling her that it's fake. Watch this.
Or giving intelligence
You're
to
just
China.
making that
I'm
up.
not.
You're saying
I am not. I am
he's
saying
gonna take
that
a
is
cell
why.
phone
That
call
is why, as
China.
Abby was saying, hold on, Abby. This is why Abby was saying it's on a need-to-know basis.
But
It's a need-to-know basis because only a handful of people have this information. Not only that, I was a former Justice Department official up until 2 months ago, and I had a security clearance. What I will tell you is I was.
To my
Can you let the woman
go ahead.
at this table please?
Go ahead. You interrupted me. I was talking here. You interrupted me.
What I will tell you is that it is the Pentagon.
Did she say let the woman talk?
Yeah, she did. And then she said, Abby says, you're having a conversation
with the
let
woman.
her talk. And he goes, well, I am too. And she did interrupt him.
Yes, she did, because he was already talking.
Abby, I do not like Abby.
I was a former Justice Department official up.
And then also she says she got security clearance. Like, the other 51 agents that were getting security clearance, Hunter Biden's laptop, like that security clearance.
Up until 2 months ago, and I had a security clearance.
And you're living up to my
Can you let the woman at this table?
Wow, can you let the woman talk? How liberal can you be? He was already talking. She didn't like what he was saying. She interrupted him, and now she's saying, let the woman talk.
You lose me after that. Anything you have to say after that, I'm like,
Shannon, let the man talk.
Shut up.
I mean, it's wild.
Go ahead. You interrupted me. I was talking here. You interrupted me.
What I will
see right there.
I'll tell you is that it is the Pentagon. What is happening here, and everyone needs to be scared, is Pentagon officials are sounding the alarm. This doesn't just happen on its own. This has happened because career officials within the Pentagon are terrified, and they believe that there is a conflict of interest. That is why it is in the New York Times, because I am sure they took it to the senior-most people within the White House and within the Pentagon, and they didn't do anything about it. And when people asked me when I left the Justice Department, how do we know that there is something unethical happening here? And I said, it will be the career officials within the Justice Department who will sound the alarm if something happens.
She's straight up lying. She took the New York Times lying article and is running with it.
Yeah, I mean,
none of that is even true. Elon Musk is not there to negotiate with China or figure out what to do about China or even leaking information to China. That was China Joe. You notice she doesn't say anything about China Joe. These people are despicable. I mean, right down despicable. All right, everybody, that is it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, have a safe, wonderful weekend out there. Man, be mindful of your surroundings, everybody, especially if you are in a Tesla. Go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com. Please support me. I need your support. uniteamericafirst.com/donate. God bless everyone. See you Monday.